But I sort of find these sort of particular headlines very, very suspicious indeed. This is, of course, the latest headline around the world, all thanks, of course, to the one-time royal couple that is Harry and Meghan. Seemingly another day, another story, another headline, and apparently we'll also be, well, incredibly impressed. This is, of course, the ongoing battle, a family battle played out seemingly now on the tabloid sensations. That is, of course, Brooklyn Beckham, alongside his father, the international footballer David Beckham, and the former pop icon Spice Girl Victoria, very, very much in the news, all thanks to dressing, of course, Catherine, the Princess of Wales. But according to this particular headline, well, Meghan and Harry have reached out. Wow, let me explain. Morning, chums, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for your time today. You know, when you think about sort of people who you could turn to in help, and I don't know if you remember this, but there used to be loads of those agony aunts, didn't there? Do you remember, in the sort of golden era of print newspapers? And I remember reading as a kid people like Marjorie Proops, do you remember her? Claire Rayner. And they would always pop up on TV and offer these bon mots, normally, you know, particularly, and I'm not suggesting that of Marjorie or Claire Rayner, but behind the scenes that you found out these people that were offering all the advice tend to have a more chaotic life behind the scenes than the ones they're allegedly helping. And I've worked with one or two, let me tell you, these people sit there and then fall apart in the ad break because they can't cope with their own life, no doubt slugging back a drink. Frightening when you think, and this is the case now that Meghan Markle has decided, and I love this particular headline, to, you know, offer comfort and support to Brooklyn Beckham. You see, it's never been an easy relationship between Brooklyn Beckham and, of course, his wife, his bride, Nicola Peltz, and Victoria Beckham. Victoria's ruled that roost with a rod of iron, and rightly so. You know, she's brought up some fine children and knows, no doubt, and maybe, you know, speaking out of turn here, but a little bit of suspicion could be attached. You understand. Now, Nicola Peltz comes from a very wealthy family, can outstrip the Beckhams with money, no problem. Families are difficult, let's be honest, and Brooklyn Beckham, you know, clearly, madly, absolutely adores his wife, hence the reason he decided to also take her last name when they got married. He's had a bit of a checkered career, something of a painter, a photographer, a celebrity chef. He's just trying to find his way in the world. That's the way I see it, you know, and just because he comes from a mega rich family, is that a problem? But they've spectacularly fallen out with his parents. No longer speaking, didn't turn up to the 50th birthday party of his father. That is a big thing. And let's not forget, of course, now David Beckham is an ambassador for His Majesty the King. So he's now moving and shaking in very high places. You would have thought Miss Peltz might have been impressed by that. Clearly not. So as I say, they're no longer speaking, but the Sun claims that now Harry and Meghan have reached out because they understand the situation. It's not quite the same though, is it? Really? I mean, we don't know the true story as to why Brooklyn's no longer speaking to his own mother and father, and indeed his wife. We know that Meghan decided that her family didn't fit the remit, so dumped them from her wedding. For Prince Harry, well, he just decided, well, to believe what Meghan had told him, alongside all of those rather strange concoctions and therapies that he deals with back in California. You get the picture. So this particular story, I would say at the time of recording, we have not seen any visible evidence. And the reason why I'm very skeptical about this story is that when I put a call into Brooklyn Beckham's PR, there's no comment. Now, if there was a picture of this momentous meeting of them having dinner over at Montecito, as it's claimed in the feature, do you not think for one moment that that would have been slapped on Meghan's Instagram account to deflect from all the negative PRs of things like Harry knocking on doorbells and her, of course, having tumbling sales for as ever with Meghan? Of course it would. So why is she holding back? Meanwhile, what happened to the Beyoncé pictures? It is a developing story, but trust me, this is a good story, but until visible proof, I think we'll have to say on this particular count, the jury's out. Anybody else agree? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.